Everything is working. Hello, hello, hello. I'm ready. I'm early. I'll wait 2 minutes. Welcome, Stefani. Nice to see you here. Nothing. Let's toggle. Let's toggle the screen, see if it works. That one big. Yes. But if we only want this one, I don't know. To do hide. Oh, so solo out. There we go. All systems go. Okay, almost ready. Is the music too loud? Hello. Oh, you press that button, then it's solo. There we go. Hello, Parrot's also here. I'll start exactly at 8. Okay, so it's not bothering you at all. Do you want to hear it? Hello, hello, welcome, welcome. How's the music now? Now let me draw this switch a bit soft. Okay, let's start. So for everyone watching, welcome. Welcome to Puppet Puppets, the first live build of the Parrot Pattern. Please let me know if there are any questions to my two most. Okay, so first thing, when you get the pattern, you get a sheet that you have to print out. And as you'll see on the bottom here, it says print on standard A4 paper and don't shrink, don't fit. Everything has to be exactly as it is on an A4. So don't say fit to screen, just print it as it is. Then you will see the first part of the pattern, 1 to 13, is for cutting from foam. Then there's 2 that's from plastic, and then the last bits are from the fabric. And when you print out the pattern, you will see that there's a slight pattern. You can see on the back, there's a Puppet logo on the back as compared to something that's from the foam. So the foam pieces don't have any pattern layout, but the fabric bits have a pattern layer. Let me see if I can find one that's a bit bigger, like this. You see, there's a little pocket. You'll see when you compare them to the two. Okay, so the blank one is for foam, and this one is for fabric. But also you can just always check the number on the screen. Yeah, you can check the numbers and then you will see where it fits in. So for tonight, we're only going to worry about the foam. When you trace the pattern, it's important that you check that you trace one like this and one the other way around, so that when you fit them together, yes, you won't be able to see it. Stefani says she can't see the difference, and that's true because they are very light. Let me just try to show you. There's the blank one, and there's the patterned one. So if you look closely, you will see that there's a bit of an outline. You see there? There's the puppet head. Okay, that's the pattern. And this is the blank one. It has no. And then also it says foam. And here it says fabric. Fabric. Okay, let's continue. So when you trace the pattern on your foam, I'm going to trace it like this. First, trace the outline. This. Trace the outline. And then move it a bit aside and make the markings where they're going to be glued together like this. Okay. Then you can see here it says glued to the mouth plate, so that part's going to be glued to the mouth plate, this side. But we're not going to mark that now. Then you turn it around and you trace for the other side of the beak. This is the upper beak that we are doing. Trace it like this, just go around the edges, get it down. And then again, you see where the markings are there, you just mark them here. There's one, there's the other one. See, it's not very clear. I see my pen a bit, but those two markings are going to be against those two markings. Okay, then you cut them out with some sharp scissors. And here comes the first trick that you should be aware of. Just cut that one too. And cut out all the foam pieces. Cut them all, I'm just doing them big for you. And then a good idea is to fit them together like this, just to see if you are really, if they pair up. If they don't, then you just snip it where there's a discrepancy there, so that they are the same. Then we cut the dots, and again, I rather put them together like this, and cut the dots again. Now I am sure that the dots are on the same place for both parts. See? And then we're going to put glue here and glue it together, and then we're going to glue the back like this. So let's do the insides first. Okay, put the glue here, the inside. Okay. And the other dots, so we're doing the dots first. I've got the pin in my mouth, that's why it sounds like I'm smoking. There we go. So I have the glue on the inside of the dots like this. There, and then it can dry. And because I know this pattern, I can also glue the back side so long so that it dries together, so that it doesn't waste too much time. There we go. And then you just wait for it to dry. It's quick, maybe about a minute or so. We're going to leave it like this. And then I want to give you, while this is drying, another tip. When you are busy with the pattern, it's good if you put the pattern pieces, the paper pattern on top of it while it dries. So now I know where it fits into my scheme of things. I did the same with the body parts that I've already cut. So I've glued the dots and then I put it together with the paper part so that I can see where they belong together. You can see on the pattern part there's a marking here that should go with this marking over here. So when I glue them, I have to be sure that the two marks are together like that. Okay. Stefani says, hello, Chantal Fenter. So Chantal is watching. Hello, Chantal. Welcome. Welcome. Please let me know if you need anything explained or just want to say anything. Okay, so then I saw now I have to glue it like this, right? So that's where I'm going to put my glue. And I glue the pieces together like this because I'm in a hurry, always. Then I'm going to glue it this side. And as I said, you always keep the paper pattern together with the foam, then you don't get too confused. Like this. So I put it back with its part here. See? Like this. And now this part has to go there, so I'm going to glue this side. And then I'm going to put the paper pattern back again so that I can remember where goes what. Glue here. And this is contact glue, which means that it has to have contact. So when it is tacky, it's not good enough just to glue them together. You actually have to press it. So here is the mouthpiece that's dry now. I can feel that it's dry. Now I have to press it together, pinch it together. Don't just put it there and hope it stays there. Pinch it together like this. There we go. This one too. Pinch it together. There we go. It has to be nice and tight, and here I can feel it's dry. So I'm also going to put this together, like starting with the inner edge, go around, making sure I'm lining it up nicely to the edge like this, and then go in between. Like this. Now press it nicely so it squeezes in. Okay, so this is the upper beak that we've done now. Hello, Tommy. Thank you. Welcome. There we go. So that's the top beak. If you see, let me just show you what it's going to look like at the end. The mouth is going to go onto your plastic mouth plate that we're going to cut next. And it's going to be glued so that it has a nice curl to it. See, you can see it already happening. So for the mouth plate, this again, because it's plastic and it's our number 14 and 15 on our list, it's from plastic. You will also see a small difference in the pattern piece. If you look at it like that, you can see that the one cut from plastic is a bit shaded. Johan is asking, what is that foam called? This is reticulated foam. It's like a wet dry foam. It's not upholstery foam, although you can use upholstery foam. Upholstery foam is a bit more dense, and it's also not very good for sweat. So this is a bit better, and it is a bit stronger quality. Yes, reticulated foam. I will type that for you. Let me type that quickly. Reticulated foam, also called wet and dry foam. Okay, so now this body part is dry, and just to make sure I'm doing you see there I had it the wrong way around, so it's best to keep it on the paper. Now I can see, okay, these ones have to go. This one I didn't mark, so I have to do the mark there. So it's just below the dot. So now I can glue it together. This. And you see there, it looks like they're not going to be ending at the same place. That's because you have to stretch this one. Stretch the short one to meet it at the top. We want the foam to make a little bulge like that. The other one too, again, you start on the bottom, glue it, and stretch the last bit. There. This is going to be like this. Stefani's saying, so you use this kind of foam for the sweat when you are working with the puppet. Yes, sweat can still deteriorate this foam, so we still like to cover it with a fleecy fabric where the hand is going to be, just to protect it some more. But overall, this foam doesn't really deteriorate as much as upholstery foam, which deteriorates much faster. So now I can see this body part is here, like this, and there's A, like this. So this is center front. So these two I have to put together like this. I'm going to put some glue there. And my nifty glue bottle is manufactured by my father. It's just a lotion, a small skin cleanser bottle, and then on the top it has a silicone what's this point thingy. Here. Here. Now I've already done the rest of the body, because the body has 8 parts together, right? Nozzle, thank you. It's a nozzle, yes, silicone nozzle. So these parts, you see that's D and C, so B and A is going to go here. And then I glued this already, I glued it together. So we can just add, this is the back of the bird. Back of the bird. And the tail, I'll show you. The tail is like this. It's going to go like this. Or it's going to go like this. Depends on what kind of bird you're making. So the tail can point upwards if you want to add some tail feathers maybe. Or down if you want to make something more regal. That has a tail that's going down. That's that. Let's see if this is dry, not yet. Just put a little bit. So it's a good idea to keep the pattern pieces. You never know when you're going to get confused. Okay. Like this. See? Okay. Okay. Now I can see, okay, those two go together. Glue them. Make sure your dots are touching. See, dots are touching. And then go to the top. Link it in there. Oopsie. There. And then fill up the middle. Press it nice and fast. I can even do like this, just so make sure it's touching. Pinch, 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 pinch. And there's the stomach. These are too many peanuts. And then this is going to be like this. See, there's my markings. So I can see this one goes here. Then I have to make sure to again stretch the top, stretch the front one. Let's put some glue here. Again with my silicone nozzle on my face cleanser bottle. One. Let's try and the same with this one. Now I'm going to set this aside to dry a little bit and go onto the mouth plate. So this I cut from an ice cream box. I like it because it's not so rigid. It can bend a little bit like this. And then, as I learned from Adam Koitinger, it's good to score the plastic a little bit, just so that it takes the glue better. So I just score it with the blade like this. You can't see, but it's making a little bit. You can see it's a bit scratched. You can also use sandpaper for this. I'm just scoring it a little bit so that the glue taps better. There we go. Then, usually what I do, because your hand's going to be against this, you don't necessarily want to touch the plastic the whole time because it's a bit icky. So I use a strong material like this that we have, like the shred fabric, because it's very nice and firm and stiff. And then I'm going to glue this onto the mouth plate like this. See? Now, depending on the style of puppet you want, you might want a little bit of more mouth movement. So you want to move this up then, because you want to be able to do this. You see, have a bit of movement in the mouth. So I'm going to, for me, I like that too. So I'm going to just take off about 5 millimeters of this, if I can. So I'm just going to take off 5 millimeters because I want some movement there in my mouth. Like this. And then I can glue it there. Another thing that you can do, if I can find it quickly, is to, So this one I've done already. You can see that I put a bit of fabric, a bit of fleece fabric here. You see? So that I can put my fingers in there, and now it's nice and cozy in there. And also it's not sticky or sweaty or slippery. Hello, Shoneen! Welcome, welcome. And on the bottom I put another one just to keep my thumb, but you can see it's got nice movement. Then another trick is when you are making the, so let's glue this first. I'm not gonna show you another way to make this nice and snug in the mouth plate. So I've scored it now. It's not smooth. It's a bit rough. So there I put some glue. Here's some glue. Now remember, they're not going to go flush together because I want some movement. So I'm going to have them separate to make a nice hinge for myself. I'm going to glue this here. If you are gluing fabric to the plastic, it's okay to just tack it on immediately because the fabric breathes, so the glue does set nicely through the fabric, so that's okay. Like this. Now, when this has dried, a good idea is to roll it up. The puppet is going to look like, the parrot's going to look like this. We want the beak like this, right? But we don't want to stress the foam too much. So I'm going to roll it up and put it inside a tube like this. And now I heat it with the hairdryer to heat it up. Sorry for the noise. Just heating it up. And I can feel that it sits nice and snug inside the tube. And now I'm going to do the other side too. Hit it with a, well, if you have a heat gun, it's too hot, so just use the dryers. Okay. And then I'm just going to pin it here, like this. Now it's just going to cool like this, but it's going to have a nice characterful, like a nice beak that does like this. So that's why we do this. Now this is dry, so we can, sorry, there I, so I said you start at the top, do a little bit at the top, and then go to the bottom. Try to fit it in so that it stretches a little bit so that it's all flush. There shouldn't be a piece sticking out, then you didn't stretch it enough. Like this. So it should be flush together, not sticking out. Like this. There it is. Now it's okay to turn it around like this because the foam is very strong. It shouldn't just break, but it's a nice way to just make sure that all the joints are really glued tightly. Like I saw there, it's loosened, so I have to tack it on again. See, so there's my stomach, there's my tail. So the tail goes here, and as you can see, there's my tail pattern. I glued it already, so these parts I glued already, there and there. Okay. And there is my marking for where it should go to the body. So I'm going to just mark it here with my pen. And there's the other one, right? And here is it on my body. I can see there's my markings. So now, as I said, you can either do it up like this, or you can do it down. So let's do an up one. Or let's do it down one. You can always change your mind later. I will show you what I mean. So now I put the glue in here. Dry. Go. Okay, and let that dry. So I like to do the body and the head at the same time because then I can just go on while one piece is dry. So that's dry. Now let's go to the head. The head is interesting. So I've got my head piece like this, and I made my marking here. It's just shy of the dot, so I'm going to just mark it here. And then the other piece is there. So this is going to go here. Let me just turn it right side on. So this is going to go there, and this is going to go there. See? Okay. Hello, Salumi, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Who's watching the little boy? I'm wondering. Who's watching the go? Now this is the most tricky part of the whole pattern. It's the head. So I'm going to do it a bit by bit. So first I glue those parts together, and then the cheek is a round piece like this, and you're going to glue the darts together like this. Ta-da. Like this. And now a good idea, even though it's not marked on the pattern, you want to know where the quarters of the cheek is so that you don't overcompensate. So I'm going to mark it halfway, turn it around, mark it halfway, and do the quarter mark as well. So now I know where the quarter marks are, so I can fit it nicely into this hole, because as you can see, this hole is going to be smaller. Sorry. Well, thank you for your nice comments. I appreciate each one. Thank you, Yella. Here we go. And then this part goes into this part. You can see already the side of the skull is coming together. You see, that's going to be his cheek, and the beak is going to sit this side. So let's glue that together. That's two. And this, during this part of the puppet making, you have to sort of check your joints the whole time. See if they are not coming loose, they're nicely together. This, you can dry so long. And this is the beak. Okay, let's do the bottom beak. Here is keep your pattern piece close. Okay, so that's the beak, and the dart goes on the top like this. So there I'm going to put my glue. It rarely comes together the first time when you are starting out with a new pattern. So just take your time and experiment, but keep your pattern pieces close by so that you can check. You may think you know where it goes, but it doesn't normally go where you thought it would go. And then you messed up the whole thing. Oh, here's a good trick. This is not my trick. But if you find that you've glued on the wrong place, you can always take your heat gun, or your hair dryer. If you blow it, if you heat it up and pull, you can see that it loosens up a bit. So that's a way to maybe get the, well, I've done it before, that you can really get the glue loose and open up the joint and turn it the right way around, or whatever the problem was. Glue this in. Now, as I said, you must make sure your joints there are together. So I'm doing that. And then I'm going to the bottom, and I'm scrunching it up a little bit, so that the bottom goes to the bottom. There's the tail. This is going to be a side parrot. There we go. Now, if you get to covering it and you decide that you don't like the profile, you can always turn it around and make that the top. You see, so it's like, it depends on what your character is, really. It can be either way up. Ta-da, ta-da. That's it. Now, for the bottom mouth, we're going to glue it together like this. Pinch it, pinch it, pinch it. Okay. Glue's not completely. Oh, you can dry it with a hair dryer if you have to, but I'm not in that much of a hurry. Shoneen, this is a pattern I developed, actually. Yes, you did. It's a pattern I developed over a bit of time, and it's for sale on my website. That's time to put the banner right. Show banner. Ta-da! There we go. That's where you can get your pattern. So when you're not watching the baby, you can download your pattern and start cutting. If not, why not? Okay, and there we go. Glue this together. There. Okay. Now it's together like this. Again, where's my pattern? This is my pattern. So here it says fleece neck sleeve glued here. See? Ta-da. And that you have to mark, because this is hard to remember. So we're going to just mark it here so that I remember that is the down, that's the bottom, that's the bottom, that's the top. Okay, so now we can glue it like this. But first we're going to put the cheeks. Hello, Emil! Welcome, welcome. So now I can see there's half of the circle. And then I put this joint and the half mark together and I mark it again. That's a quarter and a quarter. So now I know when I put my circle, the quarters have to align. So I'm not stuck with too much foam and too little hole. Do it the same on the other one. Mark the half mark. Doesn't matter where, as long as it's in quarters. So now I know where they have to go. Put my glue. Oh, baby's sleeping on there. Put some glue. And then I glue my cheek. And as you become more confident with the pattern, you can always make the cheeks a bit bigger and the hole a bit smaller. Depends on what you want. You want a more cheeky bird. You can have bigger cheeks, you know. Let's try that. It's easier to assemble the halves and then put them together than working with a hole and trying to fit in the cheeks onto the whole skull. So I think half is better. Easier. Let's just not. Oh. Now this has to dry, and I can show you the neck sleeve. The reason for the neck sleeve, let me go to my view. The reason for the neck sleeve is that when you have your head assembled, it's hard to know where the body has to go. So I like to put the neck sleeve so that I know how tall is my bird. And the neck sleeve pattern is this one. On the pattern, it's, oh, wait, show to camera. This one. It goes here. And on the pattern pieces, it looks like, it's gone. It looks like this. Okay, so I cut it out of stretchy fleece. The stretch is sideways, and as you'll see on the pattern piece, you're going to not stitch here. You're going to stitch the darts together, and you're going to stitch the back together, but with a small seam. There's not a lot of seam allowance there. So, or you can do it by hand as well, but I like to sew it because the sewing machine is a bit stronger. So there on the pattern piece, it's marked clearly. You have to do the dart first and then you do the back. And the dart, here is my dart cut out. As you look at it like this, you see that it's also lopsided. You see the bottoms are not really flush, but it should be. So when you are starting to stitch, you make sure that they align on the bottom. And then you make sure that as you stitch, you stretch it so that the dart sits like this. It works out, don't worry. It always works out, but make sure you start at the bottom. So it looks like this when you cut the pattern on the fold. Here's the fold, see? So that it's like this. And this piece is going to go through your hand is going to go through here, and this is going to be the bottom jaw, and this is going to be the top. So if I'm going to put it on the pattern, on the foam, I'm going to finish sewing this neck piece, and then I'm going to put it in the mouth, in the lower jaw like this. Da-da-da-da. It looks painful, but it isn't. Like this. And then the rest of it I'm going to glue. So here I glue the top edge onto the foam. So let me do that. I know I jumped now. I'll go back to the one that we were assembling. But there I put the glue around like this. Bit by bit. So I'm first going to do the back and then I'm going to do the front. So now this piece, I know the back seam has to go in the middle of the back, like this. Ta-da. I'm going to pin it there now because I don't want it to move while I'm stretching it. Pin it and make sure your edge is on the foam. Okay. And here as well. If you can see that. That's the trickiest part, I think. So there it is. It's glued there. And now I wait for it to dry first before I go to the front because I don't want it to move. Most importantly, the back seam is at the back seam of the foam. And I fitted it, it fits nicely. Here my hand's going to go through there. Okay. Let's stop that banner from rolling. Hide. Okay. So let's go back to what we were doing with the cheeks. Ta-da! There we go. Now, markings together. This quarter, you see, now I have to scrounge the foam in to reach that quarter. And this has to go together. Now, I have to scrounge it together to get it to the mark. And push it together to get to the mark. There we go. Of course, the cheek is bigger than the hole because we want it to bulge out like this. See? Okay. Same here. So I'm going to match up the quarter with the quarter. Match up the quarter with the quarter. Sure it's stuck. There we go. In and last one to the quarter mark. Now I am sure they are the same amount of bulginess on everything. Da-da-da-da. And now I'm going to do it like this. See? This is the top of the skull. Put some glue there. Any questions? Do you have any questions for me? Nothing? Actually, leave that bit and just go here. No questions? Nothing? So while that dries, I can show you this one. You're going to have two choices when you are ready to assemble. You can either have it like this, where the entry is from the bottom. The sleeve is attached to the next sleeve, so it's very, very strong. You can pull it. Okay, so that's one way, and you can pull it as much as you want, but it's nice and stable. And the head is loose from the body. It's only pinned on here, so that you can really manipulate as much as you want.
I can look right, I can look left. Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah.
That's the one option. So entry from the bottom. And it's nice and strong. The other option is like this one, where I'm still busy with. This one has an entry from the back. So you go from the back, and the body is going to be here, and it's not going to impede you. So if you want to do something funny, like him sitting on a twig or carrying him around, then it's not a bother. You see? Yes, Tommy, most of us have loose heads.
You see?
So this one's not done yet. but you can see that the entry from the back is very comfortable as well.
Oh no, I don't want to. I don't want to go back.
Yes. I'll show you what I need to do with this one later. Anyway, that's that one. And then now we're back here where we can glue this together. Oh, you can't see. Sorry. There we go. I'm gluing it together like this. Oh. There we go. So that's the skull. And then the beak is going to go here. The beak is going to go here. Yeah. Does the pattern teach me to make the voices as well? Yeah, I think it could, yes. Depends on how you read the pattern. So now in this stage, you can alter the pattern if you'd like to. Like if I like this higher forehead, for instance, right? Then I'm only going to glue the first part and add a triangle piece in the middle there to fill up that gap. Or I can make it a bit stronger like this. If I glue at a right angle like this, it's going to be more puffed up. Can you see? Than if I put it on the edge, which I can also do. So if I do it on the edge, like I did with this one, you can see that it's a bit more smooth. So maybe that's the look you're going for. Maybe you want like a big head piece sticking out like this, like the feathers going up. Then this would be good, you see? But it's flat. The other way is to have it like this, 90 degrees, and then it stands up a little bit. So I think that's what we're going to do with this one. Let's make this one 90 degrees. So let's all tap down. Now I'll put the glue on. Now, as I said, if this is a professional puppet, you are going to put some fleece inside, or you're going to put a t-shirt material, something stretchy inside. That's just going to protect it more from sweaty hands. But as I said, this fleece inside the beak is already protecting the part that's touching the foam, because you're not really going to touch the foam on this side. It has to dry, and let's put the mouth plate on this one. Now, as we saw on the pattern piece, the mouth plate has to be glued this side, here on the bottom side. So I'm going to put some glue. Now there's another secret here. If I put half glue on just the bottom of the mouth plate, then it's nice to curl it in afterwards like this. So it's going to be halfway like this. We're going to glue that first, and then you're going to glue it in like this. Thank you, Stefani, for asking. It's available on my website, poppetpuppet.com, and it's available for $55 only. You can just make a PayPal payment. It's so easy. And it's a downloadable PDF. It's not the pattern, and Charlene, you can't get the voices with it. I'm sorry. But I will come and visit and maybe do the voices for you. See, I'm putting the glue here only on half of the mouth plate, because it's going to go like this, and I want to put half the mouth plate like this, and the other half I want to curl up. See? So I'm just putting half of the edge as glue. Like this. So I'm going to put it like this, and then it's going to be like this. Yes, Emil, I'm glad you're excited about the pattern, and you're welcome to email me and ask me if you have any questions or if you get stuck at any point in the pattern. Okay. Let's let that dry first. And let's go on with this one. Now, as you can see, the back has dried nicely, and I can put my hand in and I can press it nice and tight because this is a very crucial joint. I don't want that to loosen at any time because I'm going to join everything to this neck fleece pattern. And then I can do the front. I'm not putting any glue here. It's not necessary, but I can make sure that it's nice into the middle of the mouth because I'm going to put my fabric mouth plate is going to be here, so it's not going to be modded. Oh, look, I'm advertising Umu, everybody. It's an Umu box. Put some glue here. Okay. Put the fabric there, stretch it nicely, and pop it in. Go. I hope that's clear enough. And again, I put my pen just because I don't want it to move now. It has to stay exactly where I put it. There you go. It's going to be like this. See? Put that there now. First, I'm going to just put it there. See, so there it is now. Now we're going to go on to the body. Now, what you can do with the body, I'm not going to do it now, but you can add a ring inside from EVA foam or something like that if you are going to use it a lot, so that you can just keep it nice and round and sturdy. But I haven't seen it changing shape. It stays round. See, oh, I'm on the wrong camera. There. So there, it stays round, so it's not a problem. Now we're going to glue the mouth plate. Is it dry enough? No. Just dry it a little bit. And then I'm going to start in the middle. This. Which part doesn't need to dry? No, it doesn't need to dry. If it's fabric on foam, it doesn't need to dry. It air dries anyway because the air goes through. Stefani's asking if you should let the foam and the fabric dry. It doesn't need to dry. You can just wet attach it because the fabric lets in air and the foam lets in air, so it's going to dry anyway. So no, you don't have to dry that first. So okay, let me go on here. You can see I'm just doing half the mouth plate like this. Other side too. Okay, and now I can add some more glue because now I want it to curl as it has here. I'm going to turn it like this so that it curls. It's just not dry yet. Let me just change it a bit. Okay. Now I can add glue. And you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but it's a bit, you can see it's roughened up. So it's going to take nicely to the glue. Put some glue there. Oh. And wait for this to dry, and then it can stick that together. Now with this one, what I've done is I've added some foam inside the mouth plate. Here. I've added some foam just to make it nice and snug, which you can do if you wanted to, but it's not necessary. It's going to be snug anyway. And it can move, it is very, very responsive, you see. Let's just get that dry. Now, we're almost done with the foam part, which is all that we wanted to do tonight. That's where we're going to stop. I just want to explain about the fabric. Here are the pieces that are cut from fabric. Okay, I'm not going to show everything, I just want to explain. When you get the pattern, when you've printed the pattern piece, you will see that there are stars that needs to be aligned. Now for me, when I align it, I like to cut one of the stars in half, because then when I glue them together, I can make sure that the stars are forming a complete star. Then I know I'm on the right spot. See, there, right there, up there, up there. See? And then you're going to glue it together. This is the body part, so it's going to come out in 2 A4 pieces, because it's too big for an A4. Like this. It's going to be like this. Let me see if I can zoom in. I'm trying to zoom in without destroying my setup. Oh, there we go. Okay. And then I glue it first with the stars aligning. With the stars aligning perfectly like this. See on the bottom. Make sure they're on the bottom and the top is not the same. There we go. Right? Okay, anyway. And then you're going to cut out the piece, and this is going to be your body fleece. And as you can see, this has to be on the fold, and the stretch of the fabric is like that. Now, for me, I don't like to work with the fur immediately. I like to cut from fleece first and then work with my fur on the fleece. So that's the body with the registration marks like that. Thank you for the words. The top is going to fold in. Yeah, I'm not going to stick this now. The top is going to fold into your tube of your body. So it's going to go like this. And it has some room to fold in. You see? So depending on how much room, how much you want to put inside, you can even make this a bit longer here from the straight edge. You can make this longer if you want, or you can just add it later. So that's the body. And the head is the same. Now, all the fleeces across the world differ. So it's very hard to give a fleece pattern and say that it's good as is. It's best if you cut a lot of seam allowance, especially if you're going to cut sew with machine, just to make sure that you have enough fabric. So the head pattern also comes out in 2 different pages. And again, the registration mark, I like to cut it out so that I can see where it is. I'm cutting this one, and this one I don't need to cut, because it has a dart that is over both pieces. So there, I cut the dart out, and now the dart has to go exactly onto this one. Can you see? And there's the registration mark. Ta-da! Now I'm sure my pattern is correct. Then, when are you showing the fabric and feathers and fur? That's only on Saturday, Stefani, so we can only do the foam tonight. So I'm just showing you what this pattern, how this pattern works. And then if you want, you can have separate pieces of fabric. So you can have this on the beak fabric, and this on the head fabric, or you can have it together. So for this one, go out. For this one, I put the fur around first, no, the fleece. I put the fleece on the whole head, and then I checked where did I want to put fur, and I added fur on top of the fleece, on top of this fleece here. So now I know it's strong, and I have something to sew the fur onto. Oh, the time on Saturday is the same time as tonight. It will also be 8 o'clock for my time, for your time, maybe 6 o'clock. Oh, keep Facebook, keep watching, keep checking Facebook. I will show you it. Anyway, and there's the mouth plate. Okay, so we're going to stop here. I think we've done everything with the foam that I needed to do. Oh, I still wanted to turn this around. So I have this like this, and then I can just squish it in like this. Start at the outer edges and move in so that you don't get stuck with a lopsided mouth. There we go. And now my mouth is finished. See? And then I can put this, I will put this onto my head. And there I'm going to put some glue here on the top. I'm actually going to see if I can put a triangle in there and make it more bouncy, more bulging. So this is going to go here. And that's it. That's it. So this, the body, is going to go onto the fleece. Let me show you this like this one. So the hand, your hand's going to go through there, and the head's going to go there.
Yeah. Oh, oboe. I'm an oboe bird. Oboe.
And that's the bird pattern, the foam part anyway. And that's it for tonight. Thank you very much for watching. We're going to end here. And as I said, on Saturday at 8 o'clock South African time, we'll be doing the fleece pattern. The fleece. Hopefully this one will be done then too, and I can show you this one. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again on Saturday. Thank you. Bye. Oh, it's not making it.